So Mujin, who is the original creator of the Sykkuno video, he deleted his Sykkuno video. I don't know why yet, and I don't get it. I don't know who his content creator is. I thought the video was well done, and he was reached out by the victims. But let's talk about that, because when I made that video about Sykkuno, so many people were victim blaming. Well, you don't have to debate whether or not Sykkuno did it. He admitted it. He put out a statement. He said, I did it. The women knew he was cheating. I don't know why we're still debating whether or not he cheated. Now, what they are debating is whether or not he's abusive. What does a man have to do to be titled abusive? What does he have to do for you guys to be comfortable calling him an abuser? I mean, seriously, what does he have to do? Because I feel like time and time again, this administration and the men around us have shown that they can do anything, including get with children, and y'all will be like, but he's funny though. Oh, but he's like entertaining. Like, she wanted it, bro. She reached out to him. So let's see why he took the video down and what his explanation is, because I don't know what this is about.
All right, so first things first, this video is not monetized. I'm not about to pull a CC in the big 2026. I'm making this in regard to my last video about Sykkuno. I want to clarify how this video came to be, while also taking accountability and apologizing for the mistakes that I made. At the same time, I also want to clear up some misinformation spread about me over the last few days. This video was meant to come out a bit earlier, but I was told by someone in the know that Sykkuno might release a joint statement with his girlfriend, so I chose to wait for that first, just in case. I'll also be going through that later in the video. So, how did this all begin? Well, for me, it was on April 7th when I was reached out to by Mal for the first time. I was told that a Google Doc was releasing soon about a big content creator. And this is when I was asked if I wanted access to it early to maybe make a video about it. The document was going to publicly release on the 10th anyway. This means that this wasn't some grand conspiracy, okay? This document was going to release with or without me. And while yes, rumors of Sykkuno's behavior have been floating around for a while now between certain content creator circles, none of this was going to really convince me to make an early video. If you've watched my channel before, then you'd know that I'm someone who highly values both sides of the story. It's actually something that I always implore you to do before forming your own opinions. And while I do receive...
I don't know his content, for the record. I really have never seen him before that I have a memory of. So, and usually I try to... He's got a big channel, like 1 million subscribers, but I don't think we've ever covered him. And if we have, I don't remember. So I don't even know what he means by both sides, but always a red flag when I hear that. There are never two sides to the story. There's always three. But also, what does that even mean when the man fully admitted it? What do you need two sides of the story when Sykkuno literally said, yeah, I did it? Like, what do you mean?
So many DMs about scoops or exclusive info about certain topics. I mostly never take them, always choosing to wait for things to unfold in public first before making my videos. What made the situation special, though, was the 17-minute video recording of the voice call between Mal and Sykkuno. My logic here was simple. It was me thinking that we already had the other side of the story, and it was Sykkuno admitting to his wrongdoings in the most raw and unfiltered way possible. So I figured that was enough. At the same time, I thought that since my channel had grown exponentially, don't ask me how or why because I have no idea.
Insane views, 1 million views, 3 million views, 1 million views, like crazy views.
I could maybe use my platform for a good cause, spreading awareness about Sykkuno's behavior so that no one else gets tricked into being a homewrecker against their will, while in parallel, encouraging others who have been wronged by him to finally speak up. Additionally, seeing that the person speaking up was doing so from a small account, I figured I could help amplify that message to spread maximum awareness. Now, yes, some people could definitely argue that I was desperate for a topic to bring in views, but to me it didn't matter because I was already lucky enough to be able to cover niche topics I enjoy and still somehow reach over 1 million views on them. Again, don't ask me how because I don't know, but that was just the reality. Here's the thing though. Releasing the video around the same time as the document meant that I was taking a substantial risk by putting my channel's reputation on the line. I knew this, even at the time. But it was a risk I was willing to take if it meant that I was doing the right thing. Unfortunately, though, it didn't really work out as I had hoped, and I ended up making mistakes that I need to take accountability for, which is why we're here today.
Okay.
The first mistake can be found in the intro of the video, and it's me using the word predator. Yes, it was my idea, and the logic behind it was me trying to encompass everything, like the serial cheating, lying, and deliberate targeting of smaller content creators into one word. Before using it, I even made sure to double check its definition.
He is a predator. He is one. Is he doubting his word of predator? He is a predator. In my opinion, where I come from, that's what you call a predator.
In multiple dictionaries, which said things like a person or an organization that uses weaker people for their own advantage, or one who injures or exploits others for personal gain or profit. Due to this, I had to come to the conclusion that, yeah, this word fits.
Is he afraid of getting sued? Because people were like, I hope Sykkuno sues you. Are you afraid of getting sued for saying that? This is what I'm saying. We will never get justice in the world if men who serial cheat, abuse, manipulate are allowed to be like, I'm not a predator though. I'm not a predator. That is what predators do. That is predatory.
I'd find out quickly afterwards, though, that for many people, that word is only reserved to describe pedophiles or sexual predators.
No, those are people who are trying to gatekeep, and they won't even use it for those people. They won't call Trump a predator. There's Epstein files and not one arrest. Like, see how we live in a world where victims never get to get hurt because you decided you didn't like the word they used? This is why victims will never get justice, because you are being so focused on semantics. This is happening time and time again. Do not do this. Focus. It is predatory, makes you a predator. He made a deliberate decision. Do not let him get away with this because you don't want to quote call him a predator.
Made a substantial amount of people feel misled after watching the intro of my video. It made it seem like a hit piece, exaggerating
No,
things.
it made men who were squeamish. It made women who uphold patriarchy feel uncomfortable. No reasonable person who's been victimized by a serial cheater would ever not feel like they were being serially abused, and or unless they were like willing to protect their abuser, like Sykkuno's girlfriend. It is predatory behavior. There's just no way around it. And I'm going to get into this later with my story that I have to cover for you. But there is a conversation about whether or not abusive men can ever be redeemed. And I want to talk about this because I do think there's something here that needs to be said. And it's that, and I'm going to show you a therapist who talks about this. But abusive men will never get better unless they actually can admit they're abusive. Sykkuno's inability to see himself as being predatory will mean he will never recover. Therapy doesn't work for people who aren't willing to do the work. And so predatory men will probably never even heal, even if they go to therapy, because they can't even admit what they did was predatory. It is absolutely predatory what he did.
And it also made it seem like Sykkuno had committed very serious crimes, enough to land him in a high-security prison or something, when that clearly wasn't the case. That was not my intention at all, and I'm sorry for that. From now on, I'll only use that word to refer to pedophiles or sexual predators. That's it. No exceptions.
Okay, was he having sex? Did his girlfriend have informed sex about his STI status? Was he spreading STIs? Did he have protected sex? Was he using birth control? Was he using condoms? Okay, was he doing oral sex? Was he giving oral sex? Was he then going home and having sex with his girlfriend, right? We don't know, but there are so many elements to this that could lead to you still being able to use that word even under your own definition. So be careful.
I'd also like to say that yes, the video was rushed. It simply didn't meet the quality standard that you expect of me, and that's without even mentioning that it was clearly biased and didn't attempt to see different viewpoints. There's a reason I don't typically reach out to people involved in public incidents, because it's very easy to form bias after you communicate directly with them. It's just human. So yeah, what Mal said at the end of her call with Sykkuno was off-putting, and it wouldn't have hurt for me to point that out. I get that. I was instead more focused on Sykkuno's admittance of guilt. I'm sorry for letting you guys down in that regard. You trust me with—
No. Focusing on what she said is because people don't understand victim mentality. You don't understand how victims think. And so you think it's the same way why Sykkuno staying with him. Why would you stay with him after everything? Because women are trained under patriarchy to believe that men will change if we just help them. Which is why, again, I'm going to feature this therapist later in stream who says that she was in an abusive relationship and basically really believed, even as a therapist, that if she just got her man help, he would stop beating her, until she came to the realization that he would beat her everywhere but her face. So when she would go on television, nobody would ever know. And then she had the realization, oh, it's not his mental health. It's not his PTSD. It's him. He wants to beat me. Sykkuno wanted to cheat. That's all this is. And the victims they believe that the predators who have wounded them just need the right intervention. Instead of recognizing, and this is what I had to realize in my former relationship, because I believe the same thing. He didn't mean to do it. He's going through stuff. He had a bad childhood. And then I realized, like, oh, this is who you are. I thought this whole time, this wasn't who you are. This is just who you had to be because of your trauma. And then I realized, like, oh, you've been given every opportunity to be a different person, and you won't be one. Sykkuno has had every opportunity to be a different person, and he chose not to be one at 35 years old. Come on now. That's who he is. That is who he is. And whether or not he'll change, who knows? But that doesn't matter because it's not happening right now.
A certain quality standard, and I just couldn't deliver it this time, and that's on me. I also want to apologize to Sykkuno's girlfriend. In the 17-minute video of the voice recording, there was one frame, which represents 1/60th of a second, that wasn't blurred, and it leaked to the group chat she was in when she found out that Sykkuno had been cheating on her with multiple people. This frame was enough for certain individuals to confirm her username, and it impeded on her privacy. I was not the one who handled blurring it, but I still included the entire thing in my own video and completely missed that detail. So I take full responsibility for that. I'm sorry. Now look, with all that being said, apologies are great, but there's no use presenting them if there's no attempt to act on them. And that's exactly what I intend to do. But first, I want to go through some misinfo that was spread about me in recent days and set the record straight. When the video first released, XQC reacted to it almost immediately and would spend his time—
XQC is trash. God bless him, okay? XQC is trash. All these boys are trash. They do not get to stand up and talk about what abuse is, considering the fact that XQC was more than happy to do a collaboration with Donald Trump, okay? I don't want to hear it. Who is a sexual predator? I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear any of these men who hang out with sexual predators. XQC talks to Destiny all the time. I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear it. And Destiny after the allegations. This is important because I know people want to bring up, oh, Brittany used to collab with Destiny. I collabed with Destiny for a year. 1 year of my life, biggest regret of my career. But no, all these men still talk to him. And that is the difference. I ended my relationship with Destiny before I even found out about the sexual abuse allegations. And these people stayed friends with him even after. That's the difference. Sykkuno, all these people that are standing by him, they're part of the problem too. What does a man have to do for you to decide? Absolutely not. Okay? So just a reminder that the women in these communities are always held to a higher standard than the men. So just remember that. Remember that. And that's what happens. And that's why I watch these men who try to go, oh, well, you were with this person. You were with this person. Again, the context, okay? Because this is why Sykkuno is going to get away with this. Because why would Mujin make this video? Why would he feel so bullied except a bunch of boys came into his chat and bullied him? And a bunch of girls who were holding up patriarchy came in his chat and bullied him. It's too bad because it was a good video. And he made a lot of really great points because Sykkuno was a predator. It was predatory what he did. And I'm so sick of these men in their 30s trying to hit on teenagers. And I say this as somebody who has a brother who's done the same thing. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these men in their 30s hitting on teenagers and calling it fair because they're, quote, legal adults. I'm so fucking tired of all of you fucking perverts because you were absolutely predatory. You absolutely did something wrong. And you know you did something wrong because you won't talk about it. You know you did something wrong because you won't actually face yourself. And I'm sick of it. So no. Absolutely not. I will not let this man with 1 million subscribers walk back a video he made that, for the most part, was actually really fucking good. Sykkuno's trash. He's a bad person. He did a bad thing to 3 different people, and his girlfriend staying with him is also a part of being a victim. It is very normal for victims of abuse to stay with their abusers. So all of these girls, see how the audience is holding these girls more accountable than the men? You see how you always hold the women more accountable than the men, even though the men targeted, lied, deceived these women? These women are at fault for believing these men. Trash.
I'm defending Sykkuno while trying to undermine the things he's done to people. He would also comment on my video. In that comment, he'd make it seem like my problem.
XQC says if he can only date people that are more famous than he is, then who could he have dated during this peak era? There were 0 creators that qualify for that. Please clarify. This is the stupidest argument I've ever heard in my life. Do not play stupid. There is a difference between somebody that much younger than you, 19 and 34 at the time, that is so fucking different. There is a difference between a fan and there's a difference between another adult peer. There is a difference. There is absolutely a difference. There is a difference. And I know this as a creator myself. It is not the same thing. They are not analogous. Plenty of famous people can date non-famous people. The power dynamics come in the quality of mental health of the person you're dating and the sense of responsibility they have. Sykkuno lied. He deceived. That's the point. You are distracting from the point. Sykkuno admits to the abuse. He admits, well, he doesn't call himself an abuser. In my bubble, he's an abuser. But he admitted to infidelity. He admitted to it. Okay? So there's no conversation to be had about like, oh, who's supposed to date him? Nobody. He's a cheater.
Sykkuno's behavior had to do with the lack of clout of the women he reached out to. In any case, what would happen next is a narrative that would form saying that I deleted his comment because I couldn't handle his unparalleled wisdom.
Chesa, did you hear people are defending David, the grown-ass man who abused and murdered a 16-year-old? Celeste was 14. Do not age her up. Do not age her up. Because that is exactly the bullshit that I'm sick of hearing. Oh, a woman died, a girl died, a little girl died. A 14-year-old girl died, okay? A child died because a grown-ass man, right, wanted and felt entitled to her. So 14, do not even age her up. 16 would have been just as horrendous, but 14 is even more gruesome. And by the way, now apparently the news has come out that allegedly she might have been stabbed. So just for the record, that's why they say it was premeditated. He invited her over to his house and then stabbed her. So allegedly, that's what I've heard so far. We'll cover it in detail later. That's the point I'm trying to make. Do not let these men get away with shit because it always starts with infidelity and it starts with either financial or emotional or physical. And then it can lead to so much more, which is why all these husbands killing their wives over divorce court. All of these husbands killing their wives over divorce court. Men have killed for less. Okay. Yes. Thank you, chat. Says she was 11 when they started talking. I knew she was younger when they started talking. I just didn't know how young. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Do not let cheating just be this casual thing that we talk about when we know it could be an indication of character in the long run, especially since cheating is often not even the first step. And how many men literally convince, and I know a lot of it is self-esteem. I know they target insecure women. Like, of course, these men specifically target insecure women and convince these women, you're the only thing that will save me. You're the only one who will do right by me. You're the only one who could love me. And then you guys fall for it. And then you guys engage in it. And then you fall for the abuse, which I don't blame you for. It's a really good shtick. It works because it really makes you feel bad, right? And then who gets all of the abuse? Who gets all of the heat from the internet? The victims.
That's false. It's still right here, along with all the wonderful comments left by his community too. I really don't know why he and some other content creators tried so hard to defend Sykkuno's behavior, as if he was
Thank you.
their long-lost brother or something.
Thank
all I know is
you.
that cheating has been
It's because they've done the same thing. It's because all of these men are shit. All these men will do the same thing. That's why. That's why.
shunned by humanity for thousands of years, regardless of gender. Maybe normalizing it now is probably a bad idea, but hey, you're free to form your own opinion. Go for it. Next, some people tried to claim that I changed my video's title because I was scared of a defamation lawsuit from Sykkuno. Sure, a random lawyer from Fiverr might claim that, but it's false. Here's a neat trick. You can go to a website like vstats.com, go
Yes,
to any
you
channel,
can.
we'll pick, I don't know, Mr. Beast, click on a video, and you'll actually be able to see any thumbnail or title changes since upload. Pretty cool, right? Now,
There are websites that also show you descriptions too. And there are some websites that can prove that people who claim like certain things like, oh, I had it in the description, it was satire. Some of these websites say not so much. You know, so all these YouTuber men who go, actually the description said satire. You sure about that? You sure about
if you were to do
that?
that with my video, you'd see that there were no thumbnail or title changes whatsoever since upload. So that's false. And look, defamation is about knowingly lying about someone in order to ruin their reputation. I had no intention of lying in my video about Sykkuno. And if I did want to lie, then wouldn't I have just simply removed the last 2 minutes of Mal and Sykkuno's voice call so that she looks way better and he looks way worse? It just doesn't make sense. I never make any video with the intention of lying. Period. And finally, when it comes to misinfo, there's also something else that honestly doesn't deserve attention at all, but I'll still mention it. And it's this weird rumor or fan fiction that some people made up saying that I only made this video to try and get with the women that were affected by Sykkuno's.
That's patriarchy. That's misogyny, right? See how the victims are once again tools for a man's success? That the victims and like can't actually be real victims. He must be wanting to sleep with them. This is H3. This is Ethan Klein saying to Taylor Lorenz, Hassan will never fuck you. You're also fucking disgusting. Like in this, by the way, even Hassan defenders will say, I think people are just mad at Hassan because they want to fuck him. Stop saying this. This is misogyny. Stop talking about fucking. Be so serious. This is predatory behavior and you're busy talking about fucking. Be serious. Stop saying this. This comes from misogyny. It comes from patriarchy to claim haters just want to fuck you. Haters are haters for different reasons, but some of us have real criticisms of these people in these communities. Sykkuno has a real reason to be called a predator. There's a real reason to call him that. Who in good conscience could tell their friend to date Sykkuno? Tell me this. Which one of you are willing to tell your besties to date him? And how would you live with yourself knowing what he did to these women if you recommended that? And why couldn't you recommend that Sykkuno date your besties? Because you know he's going to abuse them. Because you know he's not going to treat them right. That's why you wouldn't tell your girlfriends to date Sykkuno. So why are we pretending like this man is no longer safe? He is dangerous now.
Actions. Anyone who knows me or has ever spoken with me in the content creation sphere knows that I never even attempt to flirt. I keep things strictly professional. I take my platform very seriously and would never seek to use it in that way. It's simply not who I am. It's obviously also very disrespectful to anyone who was hurt by Sykkuno's actions, but it's not like the people peddling these rumors cared about them to begin with. All right, so next up we have the joint statement that was posted by Sykkuno and his girlfriend. The first half would be written by Sykkuno. In it, he'd reiterate that he lied to people about being single and that he has been unfaithful to his girlfriend. He'd apologize and say that he'd be taking a break from streaming in order to better himself. He'd also call out anyone trying to frame him with false accusations. So yeah.
But he didn't even go into details. I cannot allow false accusations and such extreme labels to be placed on me. Like what? Name them. Talk about them. That's why I push back on cheating being abusive, because everyone's always like, cheating's not abusive, Brittany. Listen, there might be a sort of, you know, cheating in your head that you think exists that maybe isn't as harmful. But when we're talking about adults lying, going behind each other's back, spending money, having sex with people, coming home, not telling you, not getting STI panels done, engaging in a long-term infidelity streak, targeting people who are vulnerable, like this is abuse.
As you can see, not much has changed. He's already admitted to these things in the voice call with Mal. When it comes to false accusations, though, yes, there are stories that have circulated for years among some VTubers that accuse Sykkuno of doing worse than cheating. At this point, though, it is not up to me to say whether it's true or not, just pointing out what he might be referring to. He could also be referring to the word predator, which I already apologized for. Now, the second half of this statement would be written by his girlfriend. She'd express how hard this has all been on her, and how hurt she felt over not having a choice on whether this went public or not, saying that she understands that many people were hurt, but that her feelings felt like they weren't really considered at all. She'd call out people who sought to use this incident for profit, and would say that even prior to this going public, she was already trying to work through things with Sykkuno in order to repair their relationship together. She'd end her statement by saying that even with everything that has come out, she doesn't consider Sykkuno's actions irredeemable. She's going to stay with him and try to fix their relationship in spite of everything. Listen.
It's not abnormal for victims to stay. Like I said, I will feature a video from a licensed therapist who stayed with her physically abusive husband because she really believed he was just suffering from mental health. And if she could help him, he would get better. And I need you to understand, this is the problem. And I know, and I don't blame the victims. You are being victimized further, and you don't even know it yet. And I can only hope that you get out one day, because you deserve to live in a relationship where this isn't your job, where you don't have to look at your partner and constantly forgive them for going against their vows to you, their commitment to you, their promises to you, where you don't have to be the one always doing this emotional labor for them. You deserve to be in healthy relationships. It is possible. I believe in it. I want you to know you can have it. I promise you, it is real. Marriage is not hard. Relationships are not hard. Life is hard. And if you're in a hard relationship, I'm telling you, it's not the right one.
I can't imagine what she's been through in just these last few weeks. Finding out that your boyfriend has been cheating on you for years, that he slept with someone as recently as December 2025 behind your back, and that he was still trying to arrange a meetup with someone else as you were already trying to fix your relationship after what had happened in December. I mean, seriously,
Horrible.
It's just insane. But I do think this needs to be said. The fact that this went public is unfortunate, but people were genuinely hurt by Sykkuno lying to them that he was single. Maybe it's an unpopular opinion at this point.
And how many future victims were just saved? Because no offense, it's not like he was going to stop. At least now somebody might know. And I guarantee you, by the way, there's going to be somebody who doesn't know. I know people always say that, like, how do you not know what's happening? How do you not know what's happening? I'm telling you right now, there are going to be women who still have not heard this story, and they're not going to know, because not everybody is chronically online. And so they're just not going to come across it. And so you have to constantly be talking about it. It's why I never shut up about abusers, because I'm like, do you know this? Because people don't know. You think they know, but they don't. And so you have to tell people.
Let me know if you think it is, but if someone lied to me about being single, and I later found out that us having sex directly hurt their partner, made them depressed, and ruined or at least endangered a 5-year-long relationship, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. That's simply not what I would have signed up for. And seeing as a public figure who used this public standing to get with these women after lying to them, it felt like this going public was going to be inevitable. But that doesn't mean that her feelings are not valid, because they are. When it comes to me, I did have a hand in spreading this to the public by releasing my video so quickly, and I simply had no right to do so. And for that, I am sorry. Now, I've seen some people's reactions to this announcement, and yeah, as you might expect, it's not sunshine and roses. This whole topic has been extremely polarizing on the internet to begin.
Oh, and by the way, now that his video is down, people are definitely going to have trouble finding it, right? So like now, if Sykkuno does this again, which he most likely will, I think cheaters have a statistical probability of 2 to 3 times more likely to cheat as they continue. It's very hard to stop when you have a pattern of cheating and abuse, right? So I mean, Sykkuno would have to become a completely new person. It's just not probable. It's not probable. So now, if he interacts with more people in the future and they try to look him up, this video is gone. So the initial video he made warning victims, future victims, no longer exists. That sucks. See how victims are silenced? See how they are not protected? See how we always end up protecting the predator every single fucking time?
And the girlfriend in particular is getting hate thrown her way, with people calling her things like gold digger or Stockholm syndrome victim for not leaving him. Here's the thing though. What matters here is that Sykkuno stops his serial cheating streak, and that he stops lying to women about him being single while turning them into homewreckers against their will. That's it. If she wants to stay, that's her choice. She doesn't deserve to get nasty things said about her though. I wish her the best, and I again would like to apologize if I directly contributed to any harm that she might have gone through. That was not my intention. Look, ultimately, my favorite YouTuber growing up was PewDiePie. Yeah, I enjoyed his sense of humor, the fact that for the longest time, he was the sole runner of his channel, which gave him so much authenticity. But most of all, what I really liked about him was that he was not ashamed of being human. He would make mistakes, but when he would, he'd also sincerely apologize and work to learn from them. It's no secret that today, as a content creator, if you were to make a mistake, it would be so much easier to wait for it to die down in a week and then continue business as usual, as if nothing had happened. I was even advised by some to do exactly that and not release this video. And I understand why. It unfortunately works. But to me, it's simply the right thing to do, even if it leads to more scrutiny and people disliking me. I screwed up, I'm going to say sorry, and I will improve. So what am I going to change exactly? Well, to start, I'll never give another exception to a scoop or exclusive info. I will do what I've always done on this channel and talk about things that I've already played.
I will say, I also stopped doing stuff like this as well. I find that the best thing to do is have victims speak for themselves and then engage in like some sort of like therapy or something like that. I will say as a YouTuber, I understand his perspective on not wanting to engage in this type of, you know, having direct contact with the story. I do think it ends up causing more action, like problems down the road, and I'm bummed he took down the video because it was a good video. And I still need to make it clear, like Sykkuno is, in my opinion, a predator. And I define cheating as predatory. And I think people who have a habit and a pattern of cheating are not going to stop at this. And I guarantee you, from all the patterns I've seen from other cheaters, it's never just one, which we know for a fact it wasn't. And if he was already at 34 years old willing to engage with a 19-year-old, there's a high probability that he could excuse something younger. Andrew Tate loves to brag that in his almost 40s, right? I don't think he's quite 40 yet, or maybe he is. Maybe he is 40. He has engaged with 16-year-olds because it's, quote, legal. Like, trust me when I say predatory men who feel entitled to women's bodies will not hesitate to go after girls. And so Sykkuno being willing to even engage with a 19-year-old at 34 is already outrageous and might as well have been a minor. That's my opinion. It might as well already have been a minor. And I mean that.
Out in public. I don't care if a 5-star general gives me info about World War III starting tomorrow. I will make the video after the nukes drop. I also realize now just how much you guys value my objectivity. I understand that I'm not perfect at it, and I probably never will be, but I'll always strive to present information to you in the most balanced way possible so that you can, in the end, form your own opinion. And finally, no matter how much this channel grows, I'll always ask you to be honest with me, and I promise to take accountability when needed, just like how I'm doing.
And by the way, I think this is one of those situations where, see how this guy has 1 million subscribers and all of these videos, and he probably makes really good videos, and yet, right, he's taking it back because he got too much heat. So that's what I'm saying. Like, now imagine you're the victims and you're getting all this heat. He's not even one of the victims, and the heat was too much for him.
Right now. So look, if the last video was a deal breaker for you and you want to unsubscribe, then I completely understand. But I won't let you leave without thanking you first. Take care, and may our paths cross again someday. On the other hand, if you're planning to stick around for future content, then I'd like to thank you so much for allowing me to make a mistake and grow from it. I say this all the time when I stream, but not a day goes by where I take any of this for granted. And the fact that so many of you watch me, whether you're driving home, chilling at work, doing chores, knitting, or just eating, I'm so honored to be able to make your day a bit less mundane with my videos. It's truly a blessing. Thank you. I also would like to thank my Discord mods, my friends, and my viewers who reached out during this time. It meant a lot, and I really appreciate it. The Sykkuno video was live for a week, so I'll keep this video live for a week as well.
2.2 million views.
However, I do plan to private the original video as soon as this video gets uploaded. I hope to be back sooner rather than later, continuing to make videos that you enjoy at the level of quality that you expect of me. As always,
that sucks. I hate that. I won't be subscribing. Thank you. I am not going to subscribe to anyone who who hesitates around a predator or / doesn't use their position of power for better. No, this guy has a little less than 800,000 subscribers. I said 1 million, but you know, I didn't like it. Not subscribing. I also think this plays into our next topic about how the gamer community is deeply concerned about the sexualization of this little girl in this new game called Pragmata, because it's all connected. Whether or not we want to believe it, it is absolutely connected. The fact that the gaming community is so terrified over the fear of what is about to happen to this little girl tells you everything you need to know about how fucked up a lot of these men are in these spaces, and I'm so fucking sick of it. I'm so fucking sick of it. And by the way, I'm going to show you a real little girl that was murdered by a man who felt entitled to her. It is very triggering, so just get ready, okay? And I want you to know this is why I will not be lenient on serial cheaters. I will not be lenient on people who target people who are vulnerable. I will not be lenient. We should not be lenient on Sykkuno. What he did was disgusting. And I can only hope that his girlfriend and the victims involved are able to free themselves from this pathetic person's grasp, because that's what he's done. He has trapped them in a if you leave me, you're abandoning me cycle. And until they break that cycle, they will be further victimized. Disgusting.